Usual. So, Jackie, as you're off mute, hit us with a win. What's your win for today?
Just going for a nice walk this morning, my day off, with my friend and her 6-month-old puppy and 6-month-old baby. So really walk.
That's quite the handful.
Yeah, that's why I went with her.
Cool, thanks for sharing that. And Izzy, nice to see you on the call.
Hi.
Hi.
What's my win? My win. There was a lot of food today at work because one of our surgeons was retiring, and there were like 3 cakes, bread, all that kind of food. And I kind of just looked and I thought,
Nice.
And it was a really bad day. It was a really busy day, really short staffed. And any other day, I probably would have just been like, give me everything.
Yeah.
Just let me eat. And I kind of thought I was able to walk away, and I thought, no, I'm good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that felt quite nice.
Amazing. Good job. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And we've got Kat. Welcome, Kat.
Hey everyone, how you all doing?
Yay! Kat used to be a client of mine. For those who don't know, Steph will probably recognise Kat, but she's still an avid member of the Facebook group, so I invited her this evening so that she can get some help with this as well. What's your win today?
I survived the horrendous weekend, and it's the first weekend I've actually had completely off weighing, measuring everything, and I put on 0.1 kilo.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I didn't overeat. I kept it all relatively simple, relatively calm. Even when we went, there were like 3 meals out as well, and I just kept it simple, and it worked.
Brilliant. Great job. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really inspiring for probably some of the ladies here that will be building up gradually to trying not tracking and things like that. So well done. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And we've got Steph. Steph, what's your win today?
I've been focused. I think it's probably the main thing.
Yay! Good.
Yeah.
So we're staying focused since we spoke on Monday? Yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes, I did have, it was my mum's birthday, and I met the kids down, or we all went down to see my mother, and she'd made a cake, and I had some cake, but it was within my, yes, it was fine.
Good.
I know we said stay off it, but she'd made it, and as I say, I just had what needed, so, and I lost this morning on the scales as well.
Oh, good. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. That's really encouraging. And last but not least, Lorraine, what's your win?
Like again, just kind of refocus after going away for 5-6 days there. So just had a good day today, just kind of back in it. Yep.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. And my win is that I got up early this morning because my horse had a vaccination, and I can't remember the last time I was up at that time, and it was actually quite nice. I got a lot more done in the day because I was up so early, but I was a little bit tired, so I did have to have a short nap. So, but it was really nice to be like up at the time that people are usually up and go to work and stuff, because I usually wait a little bit afterwards. I'm not a very good morning person, so it was quite nice once in a while just to be up at that time. I'm not sure I'll do it again, but it was nice. So this evening we're talking about how to survive Christmas. I've got 10 ways. Let me just share my screen. Oh. There we go. 10 ways to help survive the Christmas period. You guys can't see, but Henry sat right there looking at me as if to be like, I'm here for the talk. What's going on? You gonna share? So what I'll do is I'll share through the 10 ideas that I've got and ways that you can help survive Christmas. And then if anyone's got any questions at the end or anything like that they want to go through, then we can go through that as well. what I think is really important is, as we approach this Christmas period, things like sharing our wins on a Tuesday, even if you don't come to the coaching call, sharing your win in the group afterwards, any general wins of the week, or whenever you feel like you want to share something that's been good or exciting or motivating, like we do on the group Motivation Monday or Fail Forward Friday. It's really encouraging to see people's wins and to motivate each other. And it just takes one person to start the ball rolling, and then other people want to join in. So I think especially over this Christmas period coming, to keep everyone motivated and on track, it would be really great if you could put yourselves out there and share your wins. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. Maybe it's even like a little recipe idea that you might have tried or something like that. It would be really good to see some of those things. Because it is a hard time of the year. Everyone's conscious of how rapidly Christmas seems to be approaching, like less than a month now. And no more so than, some of you that are parents as well. You're going to find yourself spending the majority of the month probably running around or sorting things. Hopefully we all get to see our families this Christmas and actually do something together. So some of you might be making up for lost time, from last year when we didn't get to do that. But we also still want to work on our goals, and there are certain things that we can do to help ourselves have a better chance of achieving them, while trying to juggle a busy work family type life, as is the Christmas period and life in general. So some tips to help you not only survive but thrive through the Christmas period: stay on top of your diet and your sort of lifestyle in general, without trying to invest too much time and effort, but still allowing you to enjoy the Christmas time and feel prepared fully. So first thing we're going to go through, and number one, I didn't realize I was in green, but I actually quite like it. So I'm going to keep it in green. Number one is schedule. So make your diary your best friend during the next month, maybe month and a half. Being able to have an idea of what the week ahead looks like allows you to schedule things in that matter, rather than just sort of hoping you might get the opportunity to do it. So I spoke to a client today and said maybe it's time to set an alarm on your phone to remind you to go out for a walk. I think I spoke to another client yesterday who I said to set a reminder on their phone as well to go out for a walk, or just to take 5 minutes for themselves. So in this busy period, we can get really het up in the big things that are in our diary. And then what we end up doing is being like, I've got something planned every single weekend between now and Christmas. So the in-between time is just gonna get there somehow. Try not to do that. Okay, try and plan as much as you can. Food shops, food prep, workouts, daily time for yourself, going for your walk, everything that you possibly can, try and get it down, and then try and be realistic about it. So, things do crop up unexpectedly last minute, but by scheduling in the extra behaviors that you want to try and sustain, you're going to have a much greater likelihood of finding the time to do them, rather than just leaving them to chance and being like, I think Thursday's free, maybe I'll go for my workout or go to the gym, maybe I won't. And also take the time to realistically schedule the 7 days from the 23rd of December to the 30th. That is when usually we see our family. You're traveling for hours, maybe you're having 2 or 3 different Christmases, and usually people just sort of block all of that time off. They might be working a couple of days in between, and everyone tends to fall off the bandwagon around that day, because actually Christmas is only one day, but it just seems to turn into a whole 8-week thing of complete carnage. So let's not try and have that happen. But the ultimate carnage is probably going to happen between the 23rd to the 30th. That is when we usually see all our family and friends. But what's really important is that you don't use that as an excuse to derail. Okay? So have a think about your schedule and be realistic. And also try and see it as well as Christmas Day is an out of ordinary experience day. Okay, it's one day of the year, that's it. The rest of the time is still part of your normal lifestyle. Okay, you haven't gone abroad for 2 weeks and you're not on an all-inclusive holiday. It is just Christmas. There are going to be lots of things, as I'm going to be talking about in a moment, but try and schedule in as much as your normal life as you can around the other stuff. Number 2, watch your food environment. So in the run up to Christmas, there's a lot more high calorie snacks and stuff available, easily overeaten food that is going to find its way into our households. So although we can't necessarily avoid these foods coming in sometimes, like if you're going to work and that's there in the staff room, we can go some way to make them less of a temptation. So if you've got kids or friends or whatever it might be, you like to have a bit of a spread on offer, or you like to be able to treat people or whatever it might be, try storing those different things in inconvenient places. Maybe talk to your work and be like, show of hands, who here is trying to sort their weight out or their lifestyle or whatever. I guarantee you 9 people out of 10 are going to raise their hand and go, I'd actually, probably be okay if there wasn't loads of chocolate and cake in the staff room, although we all really appreciate it. So maybe, don't poo-poo on people bringing them in, but maybe see if you could put them in an inconvenient place, make them a bit harder to access. So, if you're quite short, for example, and you've got a tool cupboard, put them right at the back on the tool cupboard, okay, out of sight, out of mind. And then accompany that by placing the better quality foods within more immediate reach. Don't leave half a loaf of bread out on the side going, oh, that's for the kids. And then you're walking past the bread every single day, okay? Because that's just a recipe for disaster. So don't try and rely on your willpower alone over the Christmas period, because you're going to be so busy and there's so much going on that we want to take the temptation completely out of it. Number 3, bank your calories. So this is quite an interesting one. Something that some of my clients follow, some don't. Our calories don't just work on a daily basis. We can look at them across the entire week. So you'll know from our, calls that we do and your action points, I work out what your calorie average has been for the whole week. So this actually allows us to manipulate our calories in a way that can let us save extra calories for when we need to. So things like nights out, special occasions, work dues. So if we needed, for example, let's say you're on 1,800 calories a day, and that's what you need to lose weight. We've discussed that. That's what you're on. By simply dropping to 1,700 calories across a 6-day period, you've then saved an additional 600 calories for use on one particular day. And you'll still be able to achieve the same rate of weight loss because you're not exceeding that total number of calories that you need within that week. Okay, so that's maybe something to bear in mind. And that also, and I'm going to talk about this in a little while, but that also comes into as well, make sure that you do that before the day, and then you don't sort of ignore it, let's say Monday to Friday, and then you have a huge blowout on Saturday, and then from Sunday to Tuesday you eat like 800 calories. That's not the way it works. You should be pre-planning for it, not relying on your guilt afterwards to try and rein things back in. Number 4, 2 for function. 1 for fun. So what I mean by that is with a typically, increased frequency of dining out and doing stuff and going places, it's going to certainly be more difficult to control that calorie intake on a daily basis. But we have 3 meals a day. Okay, we don't have to ruin or go over on all 3 meals of those days. So when you're faced with the prospect of a meal out, try and make 2 of your daily meals as functional as possible, and then leave 1 for fun. So within those functional meals, try and focus on protein, vegetables, fiber intake, which is going to help your calories stay on the lower side, or at least in the right sort of frame that it should be. It's going to help reduce your carbs. And then it means that you've got this 1 meal, for fun, where you could have slightly more adventurous food choices. You've got some extra room in your daily calories to play with because you've already achieved the majority of the rest of your daily nutritional needs. So pre-planning, okay? Number 5, work around the buffet. So work functions, family gathering, kids events, all situations you're going to find yourself in when your only food choice is a buffet and a spread. an easy option or an easy opportunity to overdo things, but we can attempt to manage it by just trying to be sensible. So in allowing ourselves just a single trip to the buffet table, maybe choosing a smaller plate, being selective with our food choices, allowing room for 1 or 2 treat items without overdoing it. So everything in moderation, but then remove yourself from that immediate environment. Okay. So try and potentially, you know, either be one of the first people up to the buffet table so that you're full. And then when everybody else is still picking and grazing, you're like, no, I've done it. Or if that doesn't work for you, maybe try and be one of the last people up. So you've got less choice. That might not work for you though, if you want to sort of be really strict with, okay, this is what I'm having, and I don't want to be left with, you know, just a load of, I don't know, rice and crisps or whatever it might be. So we can be less prone by returning then for like picking up on extra bits or nibbling on leftovers or whatever it might be. So try and think about how you can work around the buffet table. And obviously working around it then comes into all of the other points that I've talked about already today. So like pre-planning, maybe adjusting your calories and macros accordingly for that. Number 6. Be selective with the booze. So we all like a drink in the run up to Christmas. It makes us feel festive. It makes us feel included. It feels like it's sort of something that we have to do. But be wary, the alcohol calories can add up really fast. Remember that you are in control. You do not have to drink to have fun or to enjoy the festivities. Okay, no one's going to think you're dull or boring if you just go to the bar and have a lime or soda instead of having a pint or whatever it might be. But if you do want to drink, try and make some substitutions to what you do drink. So usually things like Prosecco and wine is, you know, given away for free at parties and things like that. Maybe think about how you can choose slightly better options. You know, you could save yourself a huge amount of calories by changing things from like having a pint, which is 200 calories, to having something like a slimline tonic or a vodka and diet coke, which is only going to be about 60 or 70 calories. So that's going to be much less. Do remember though that any type of alcohol will probably cause your weight to come up the next day because of water retention. So be mindful of this, and also try and avoid drinking 2 days in a row because alcohol takes 48 hours to metabolize out of the liver. So if you're drinking 2 days in a row, you're just double stacking the work on your body, and that weight isn't going to come down as soon as you would like it to. A top tip though, if you do want to drink alcohol, maybe try drinking it with fruit juice or having a piece of fruit alongside it. The fructose can help really break down the alcohol a little bit faster to leave the system. That's not saying, you know, go and drink all of the rum punch that's unavailable. But, you know, if there's something like that, it might be, you know, an opportunity for you to have. Remember with fruit juice though, if you're having something like orange juice, apple juice, that can be quite high carbs potentially, as well as the drink that you're actually having to start with. Cranberry juice is always quite a good option. Number 7, keep yourself moving. So although it's not ideal with so much going on, you might find yourself occasionally in a position where you're missing your usual stuff. You know, let's say you do yoga or Pilates or gym classes, they're going to stop for a couple of weeks over Christmas. Everyone's in this weird limbo. People always take a week or 2 to get back because they're not back in their routine. So try and counteract this by making sure that you are as active as possible, but not in like an overly active way. Don't put too much pressure on yourself if you don't get your workouts done or if you don't make it to that spin class. Think about the other little things that you can do, like walk the kids to their Christmas party. Or, you know, could you park a bit further away from the shops when you have to go into town to get gifts or your food shopping? All little things like that, and focusing on your steps can help to increase your general activity levels, which, you know, is going to do that throughout the day rather than have this big spike, which might put a lot of pressure on your body when you may be already feeling stressed. So although exercise is only 20% of the results, it is still 20%. So don't forget that the energy output matters too. So do try and keep your steps up over Christmas, because it is an opportunity sometimes to just lie back on the sofa and be, you know, quite lethargic and not do much. Number 8, choose when to running out of space. Choose when to blow your calories. Okay, so choose when to go completely over on them. With a lot of social events happening in the run up to Christmas, it's going to be difficult to decide which ones you want to blow your calories on. Don't do it on every single one. It will have a big dramatic effect on your body weight, and you don't need to do it on every single one either. Okay, it's just one of those months where you happen to be quite sociable. You know, life will go back to being normal at some point, but what we don't want is for you to look back over the Christmas period and go, did I really have to get absolutely smashed on that work stew and have, you know, all the food ever when I'm going to 2 others as well? So be selective about when you blow your calories and when you don't, so that you're not taking, you know, every opportunity to sort of put the fuck it button on. Think about, you know, what would you like to achieve from this night instead? What would you like to wake up to weight-wise tomorrow morning or the next day? Because then you can be a little bit stricter when you need to, but it means that you can create and employ a bit of balance for those situations that maybe don't need to be as strict, or maybe you do need to be as strict with some of those situations. Number 9. Oops. Bounce back from overindulgences. There we go. So if you've overdone it at a gathering with a friend or family, wherever it might be, it happens. Okay, it's done, it's over with. Although it's easy to slip into a guilt cycle when you attempt to bounce back from overindulgences by being overly restrictive with your diet, that is just going to lead to further binges, further psychological emotions coming up, and difficulties in ability to control your sort of self around certain foods. So you've all worked really hard to get yourselves into the mindset and change your mindset around the idea that this is a lifestyle change and not a diet. So, you know, make some maybe slight alterations, but don't change things dramatically. So like I said earlier, change things the 6 days before, don't change things the 3 days afterwards because you're feeling guilty. See this as an out and order of ordinary occasion, and now come the next day, you're just going to wake up, it's going to be back to normal, you know, and you're just going to crack on with your usual 1600 calories, and don't dwell on it. You know, just accept that this was a cool occasion. It's, you know, I've had a bit of a blowout, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it. And I'm equally not going to give myself like permission to go over and do it again. I'm just going to draw a line under it and carry on with my normal everyday life. And then number 10, if anything, over this Christmas period, aim for maintenance. If you aim for maintenance and you stay the same, there's no disappointment. If you aim for maintenance and you lose a couple of pounds, fucking brilliant. Okay, so let's be honest, you know, everyone knows that the Christmas period is very tough on our diets. Regardless of all the things that we put into action, sometimes it can just be that bit harder to see the weight loss that we want to. So obviously we can take measures to reduce dietary stress, general stress, you know, things like, and I'll talk about stress in a second because that can have a huge impact, and it can be a very stressful time of year. But try and allow yourself a little bit of enjoyment during this process and this time, and a little bit of freedom with your diet. Make it easier for yourself to accommodate sometimes those extra calories. Go with the ebb and flow that is this period of Christmas and New Year, because once you come out of it, you're going to have really leveled up and stepped up to that next bit and be so proud of yourself that throughout all of this you maintained. Whereas usually, you know, a week into the Christmas month, you would have hit the fuck it button, done that for 3.5 weeks, come January and you've put on half a stone. So be realistic, aim for maintenance, because at times that can be a much more realistic goal than trying to you know, lose 8 or 9 pounds in the month where you've got 4 Christmas parties and 2 different Christmases. Okay. And then stress. So I know a lot of people suffer with stress around Christmas. There's a lot of pressure on families. There's financial pressure. There's pressure because you don't want to see certain family members that you have to see. You have to, you know, impress certain people that you don't want to impress. Sometimes, you know, it can be a difficult time of year if loved ones aren't around. It can be a lot. So try and do the best that you can to control your stress levels. Keeping up with the demands of the holidays can be really, really stressful. So stress can have a really negative impact on our bodies. As you know, before, you might have seen a call that I've done, you know, high levels of cortisol, or hormones that is released in response to stress. That can cause some weight gain. It can lead to greater food intake. Additionally, being stressed can cause more cravings for junk food or overeating. So plenty of techniques that you know that are going to help reduce stress, like your morning and evening routines, exercise, meditation, breathing, taking time for yourself, is all really important around this time. And just remember that you are in full control of your own actions. No matter what is going on with everybody else and their situation and what the world is throwing at you, you have a choice how you react to it and how you move forward. So take that opportunity, take that choice, and, you know, choose the opportunity, choose the path that you want to go down to be able to manage your mind and your body in the way that you know is best for yourselves over this stressful period. Another thing is, think about maybe choosing your battles. So sometimes around Christmas time, it can be quite a tense time with families. People fight, arguments happen, everyone gets on each other's nerves because, you know, somebody ordered double of something and they didn't bring the other thing, whatever it might be. But choose your battles, okay? Some things are worth just letting go of if you just want a little bit of harmony over the Christmas period. So maybe try and think about, could you be a little bit more, maybe like show forgiveness over Christmas, show gratitude for, you know, what you have and the situation that you're in, and the opportunities that you've got. And, you know, don't expect too much. Everyone always puts loads of pressure on Christmas and New Year. And then, you know, every year, actually, everyone just overeats and is just thankful that they got to see their family and friends. And that's what all of this is about. So try and take it all as, you know, this is actually just a couple of days. It doesn't have to be the whole month or the whole month after that. If you clash over something with somebody, kiss and make up quickly and move on. Because remember, it's supposed to be really fun. So do try and share your wins as well over Christmas to help keep the motivation going. And hopefully the 10 things that I've covered will help you survive the Christmas period a little bit better. So number 1 was scheduling. Number 2, watch your food environment. Number 3, bank your calories. Number 4, 2 for function, 1 for fun. So thinking about your 3 meals a day and where you could work that around. Number 5, work around the buffet. Number 6, be selective with the booze. Number 7, keep yourself moving. 8, choose when to go over on your calories. 9, bounce back from overindulgences. And 10, aim for weight maintenance instead of major weight loss. And then think about how you can potentially manage your stress. Does anyone have any questions? No? Appreciate maybe some of the things that I've covered is stuff that you guys know, but I'm hoping that having the opportunity to hear it all in a long list and write it all down and just bring your mind into the conscious of rethinking about it can help reset you for Christmas. I was debating about whether to do this tonight or next week, but because we're going to be like, 6 days into December by the time next week comes, and I know a few of you have got some parties coming up on Friday and Saturday, I thought tonight was a good opportunity to go through it. Did you find the points helpful? Is there stuff on there that you're going to put into practice? Yeah? Jackie, that was a hesitant nod. Were you just thinking of the list? Oh, you're on mute, but I'll take that as a yes. Cool. So if you don't have any questions, then that's all from me. Thank you very much for joining me as usual. What I'll do is in a couple of weeks' time on the coaching call, I will just very briefly reiterate this list. so that you guys are, you know, keeping it in the conscious mind and being present about your thoughts and the way that you're going to tackle Christmas and New Year. But if anyone needs any support, you know that I'm here. So please do message me. You know, lean on people like your buddies, the group in general, and, you know, keep sharing your wins, and let's keep motivated over this, you know, potentially difficult time of year. Cool. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. I really appreciate your time this evening. Have a nice rest of your evening, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.
Thanks, Anna.
You're welcome. Bye.